Hi, everyone. I hope your Halloween hangover isn't too bad. But as you lie there or sit or whatever you're doing right now as you're watching this, and remember all that candy you've been eating, I'm going to talk to you about detoxing your life. So, this is not about detoxing your body. I've done other videos about detoxing your body, and there's plenty of information out there about that. We all know it, heard it 1,000 times. What I'm going to talk about is detoxing your mind, your heart, and your soul. This is extremely important. And our lifestyle for a number of decades now has just been getting faster and faster and faster. And then in 2012, we transitioned from a society where over 50% of the society is on a smartphone. That was the big turnover that happened around, I think it was 2012 or 2010, I can't remember. But anyhow, we are in a technology-based society. We spend a ton of time on screens. Not only do we spend a lot of time on screens, which is hard on our eyes, we also spend a lot of that time is spent watching or shifting through social media, YouTube videos, and chat rooms, things like that. All right, especially with COVID, we've been doing a lot of interaction through the internet. And this is the beauty of our world. We are so interconnected. We can actually send pictures to grandma in Japan, and she can see it in real time. As we're chatting with her on Zoom, we can send her a picture, and so it's amazing how much technology has connected us and how much it has benefited our lives and how much it has freed us to be able to fully express who we are. So technology, this is not about how bad technology is, but this is about understanding how it is affecting our health. So some of us, the intro and the first thing that you will start to hear about is how screens are so bad for our eyes. And they are. Our eyes become much, much more tired and strained. And what happens is this is how I understand it. Again, I'm not an optometrist, so disclaimer. I'm an energy person. I'm an Akashic record reader. I'm a life coach. I am not a nutritionist. I am not a doctor. I am what I am. But here's what I understand. When we are looking at screens all the time, our eyes don't get basically they don't get the exercise of transitioning from depth. And this is why they advise us to look up from our screens or away from our screens and look farther away every 15 minutes. Did you know that it was every 15 minutes? So I think, and I have the luxury that I sit at home and I do my work at home, and I have this nice screen, and I have this beautiful window where I look out across a backyard that is extremely green, and quite a bit of depth. There's mountains in the background, and I can cloud watch and I can do that. So I'm very lucky. But I think back to my earlier era of my life when I worked in the high rises of Vancouver in more of a corporate and professional, downtown world. And I used to have my desk, my cubicle was next to a whole lot of other cubicles, and it was a very small square. And I looked at, basically I looked at 3.5 walls, except for the little entrance, right? 3.5 walls and a monitor all day. And for people that are in that situation, take a moment, lean back in your chair, and look down the hallway. Step out of your cubicle, step out of your office if you can, and look at the depth. Find a window that you can look out. That'll help. But even leaning back and looking all the way down the hall and waving at your neighbor at the far end, your coworker at the far end of the building, it helps your eyes adjust. And it gives us that break. It also actually helps our mind, and it helps our mind break from the monotony of the impact that is coming from the screens, because there's a lot of impact coming from the screens. So that's minimum. Take advantage of your breaks, get out onto the street, feel the weather on your skin, and look into the distance. If you're lucky enough to look across an ocean, all the better. If you're lucky enough to look at mountains, fantastic, right? Any way that you can look at distance and preferably nature, it will rejuvenate your eyes and help protect your eyes. And it'll also help enliven your soul, because you remember that life is about the world around us, and the world around us is a lot bigger than the screen in front of you or the four walls around you. So that's the first detox I wanted to point out. The next detox I wanted to talk about with technology is a little bigger. And this one really affects, we always say that this affects our children so much, but it's actually the children's parents that are having some of the biggest problems. We have become so addicted to the dopamine rush in our brains that we get from media. Okay. And it's interesting. We get it when some of us may have heard, when we get a like on our post, or we get a comment on our videos, or we get included in a group or something online. Those all give us feedback. They all give us this dopamine rush in our brain of pleasure. Right? It hits our social bug. It's our acceptance. We've been approved. It's a kudos from society. And we look for that. Our bodies naturally crave more and more dopamine, and we actually can become addicted to that dopamine. And that's how we get addicted to the technology. And we get it from video games as well. We get it from video games when we succeed. We also get it from watching things like YouTube, and when we watch news that we agree with. Well, most of us, did you know statistically that most of us only pay attention to the news that agrees with what we already have as an opinion, and it endorses what the opinion we've already made? We don't actually listen to media. We don't actually research stories to expand our thinking. We use it to affirm what we already have decided is true. That's not too bright of us, is it? It's hard to grow when we're staying in the same pool. So I encourage you to look for the articles and the writers, the media and everything that contradicts what you believe. Because by listening to the contradiction, you will expand your understanding of the subject. You may change your opinion. You may become firmer in your opinion. It doesn't matter. You expand. The goal of media should be to expand our understanding of the subject so that we can make educated decisions that are correct for our personal lives and what we hold to be true. So that's my media lecture. But anyhow, so we actually find, and the reason why we go after stories that affirm our opinion is because it's like getting, it's like your best friend saying, I agree with you. It's an approval. We find our group, our weirdos that we belong with, it's approval. And we're always looking for that approval. All right. So that's why it becomes addictive. Games, when we level up and we get coins, like you watch these video games, they're always giving rewards, right? It's the big, one of the big sales things is to reward our customers, come back more. The more you shop, the more you get, right? Reward, reward, reward. That's what we are programmed to do. And which is great. It's very motivational, except when it's not healthy. You have to be aware of the long-term results of what your rewards give you. So often what we are addicted to, or what we look for, is that quick dopamine hit because it feels good in the moment. The chocolate bar that's like, instant hit, right? The video game that we level up. Oh, wow, level up. Cool. I got more points. I got more of this. I'm progressing. Yay. The likes and everything that we get on our posts on social media. All of that is quick dopamine. But the long-term results of the action that it takes to have those does not create necessarily the life that we want to be living. If we are constantly looking for a dopamine, looking for that hit of joy from our social media likes, and we're putting our life always on social media, we start living our life with the idea of what can we put on social media, we actually stop having real connections with human people. And this is, and it becomes very unhappy. We are extremely social people. And this is why we have such a high level of loneliness, even before this whole pandemic hit, we had a high level of loneliness. And it's because we are looking for our social comforts on a quick hit off of approval on a media device that does not have human contact. If we are not hearing the voice, seeing the person, and touching, then we are not having human contact. And it's not real. It's not a long-term benefit. We are meant to be connected at a very five sensory place. Okay, so back to detox. What we actually want to do is break away. We want to give ourselves breaks. We want to manage our media because we can't step away. This is our world, and for a lot of us, this is how we're making a living, right? So we need to step back from our media and put guidelines and rules for ourselves around it. Choose behavior that is beneficial. All right. There's this need to respond quickly. So here's the first one. There seems to be a need of instant response. And now one of the things that I have learned is that when I am working with clients all over the world, because I do, I have clients in Australia, I have clients in England, I've taken a course out of Sweden, I've had clients in Austria, I've all over the world, right? And all over the United States, North America, of course, right? And working with them, they don't expect, because they know I'm on the other side of the world, they don't have an expectation to, and really face it, if you're working with me, you learn really quickly that it takes a lot for me to respond fast. I tend to respond quickly, and I respond when needed to. If it's an emergency, I respond very quickly. But I put rules on my social media and my responses and everything that I will, Monday through Friday, I generally will check my mail 2 to 3 times a day. That's it. Unless I got something real hot going on that I need to be on top of my emails, I check it 2 to 3 times a day, and that's it. And occasionally, if I'm out and I'm actually working in a spa somewhere or running a course in people-to-people time, then I'll answer it once in a day. And usually it's one of the first things. It's when I come into my office with my coffee, I usually just sort of check my mail, and it gives me an idea of how my day is going to unfold. But so that's the first one, is put some rules around it. Don't be checking your email all the time. Don't have it on notifications all the time so that you're constantly being notified. Oh, another message. Oh, another message. Oh, it draws us in all the time, and it distracts us from where we are. Okay, so we need to put parameters around that. And when people are working with you on the other side of the world or on a global basis like this, I don't expect a response back in less than 24 hours. And I've never had anybody complain from me in less than 24 hours. Okay, so the world is not going to, unless there's something really hot going on that you got to be on game with, put it out there that, you only answer it one to 3 times a day. And don't answer it before bed. Okay? Get an end time to your day. If your day ends at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever it is, and like with me, my day varies. The end of my day will vary anywhere from 2 in the afternoon to 9, 10 o'clock at night. I've even been up to 11 o'clock with clients before. So it can vary a lot in my end of the day. But I have an end of the day. Every day has an end of the day. And when my day is over, I do not check my email again at all. I don't. I am done. And anything that comes into that evening, my mind is done. I check. The last thing I do is I double check that I've answered all my emails for the day. I write myself a to-do list for what I'm going to do the next day so that I know when I walk into my office, I check my email, I look at my list, and there's my day. And I close my office door. I turn off my computers and I close my office door. And that doesn't open again unless I'm coming in just to grab something that I forgot, like my coffee cup or something, right? I try not to go back into my office because you need to separate yourself from your professional life and your business life. Okay? It's not good to have it completely intermixed because then business will take over. and then we lose out on and we're not here. When the office door is open, it's like the door in your mind is still at work. So close the office door, you're done. Put your focus into your life. And one of the things I actually do, and so over the years, I've worked with a few men, mostly, a couple women, but mostly men that have worked in very, very high stress places that are difficult to balance the soul self in this physical life. And those are jobs such as prison guards. I've worked with quite a few prison guards, as well as parole officers, social workers, nurses, people like that are, it's really, really hard not to have your heart involved, right? It's really hard not to get saturated with the environment that they're working in. Okay, so this is for anybody, and I'm telling you, this trick works wonders for them. And so I'm sure it'll work wonders for you. And so here's what you do. You shut everything down, you close your office door, and before you leave, before you close the office door is what I do. I turn and I face my room, and I thank my clients, and I thank Divine Spirit for the work that I do, because I have a great appreciation for the work that I do. I love it. I am so blessed to do this work. And then I cut any cords between myself and anyone worked with or thought about today in this office. So I cut the cords. And I use this hand swipe motion as if it's a sword literally cutting those cords. And then I rub my hands together and I flip them and I I separate myself from everyone else's aura, everyone else's energy, and I pull my own energy to myself. And so this is actually separating all the energetic connections that happen with everybody that I work with in a day, right? And then I do my thank you. And then I tell myself and I tell Divine Spirit, I now direct my full attention to my physical family or physical personal life. For me, physical life is very important because I spend so much time dealing with the energy fields and the matrix and stuff. So, and the Akashic. But anyhow, so that's my thing. And then what it is what I'm doing is I'm telling myself my work is done and it's time for my personal life. And it tells my brain to leave my work in the office. And then I close the door. In my office, it's there. It'll be there for me when I come back tomorrow or Monday or whenever it is that I come back into that office. It'll be there for me to pick up again. But my full attention, and I say my full attention, is in my personal life. Because I want to be in my kids' life. I want to be in my husband's life. I want to be in my parents' life, my friends. I want to connect with them. And if my brain is still in my work, then I'm not connecting. Okay, so that's a major, major one. And that has helped so many people separate work and home, and especially when you're working in your home. So if you're working out of the home and when you come home, so this is particularly when I was working with like the prison guards, the nurses and things like that, careers like that. They're not working out of their home. They're working in an institution of some kind. And teachers, another big one for teachers, right? Their hearts go into those children all the time. And anyhow, so when they get home, before they go into their house, so at their back door or whatever door it is they're about to go in, they turn themselves to the world, to the end of their driveway, to the world. And that's what they do. They cut all the cords, they separate their energy from everybody else's energy, and they thank the world for blessing them and thank Divine Spirit for blessing them for the work that they do. And then they say, I'm turning my focus and my attention is on my personal life. And that really helps them separate. Okay, so you can do it at your back door. You can do it wherever you want. Quite often, if it's very intense or you're having a really hard time at work, you can do it. You leave work, you get in your car, or before you get on the bus or whatever, you do it as you've left work, and then you do it again when you get home. Those are for people that are really high stress areas, high stress environments. So that's a big tip right there. And then the other thing I want you to do, or I want you to do, you do what you want, but this is what I'm going to advise you to do. What I want to say is give yourself a break from all technology. Take preferably an entire day every week. And do you know that the most wealthiest people in the world, the most successful people in the world, most of them do this, if not all of them, but most of them for sure. They take a day that is all about connecting with themselves and their world. They step away from everything. Okay, so they step away from all the obligations, they step away from all the technology, they turn off their phones, whatever it be, and they spend the entire day connecting with themselves, connecting with their loved ones, and connecting with nature. They give themselves a day off. And the amount, so many people have this, you got to go, 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 productivity, productivity, productivity. And what the studies have actually shown is that when you take time off and truly unplug and do this, go into yourself, connect with your life, connect with your family, not only do you create a more joyful life, stronger and better relationships, and reduce your anxiety, reduce depression. It has so many benefits throughout. Your health actually improves. Your immune system boosts from doing this. Okay, so not only do you do all of that, but you actually increase your productivity. People who do this accomplish more. People who take 1 or 2 days off a week where they completely disconnect actually are more productive. They accomplish more the rest of the week. So if you're a business owner and you're watching this, maybe you need to put something in place for your staff that gives them and encourages them to have that off time. Not all jobs can do this. I know when I was working in Vancouver, having a lunch off, I didn't very often get to have lunch breaks that were actually off work. They were usually with, clients, but or coworkers or whatever. But even if you can take a 20-minute walk at some point during the day and literally turn everything off. I'm out of the office for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever you can squeeze out, and you go outside and feel the weather on your skin. This is really important. We need to feel the weather on our skin, right? And I mean, I don't walk around naked. We don't want to do that. Nobody wants to see that. Imagine going in the big city and everybody's walking around naked. That would be hilarious. Anyhow, it's not about that, but you can feel it on your face, feel it in your hair, feel it on your hands. Know the weather, okay? Feel that weather. Get out there and have that exercise, that movement of your body. It releases a lot of stress and bent up adrenaline and chemicals that are hormonal chemicals that are released in your body that you get from all the interactions that you have throughout your day. That walk is so important, that physical movement, okay, just for releasing your stress. But taking that and turning off the media, having that 20 to 30 minutes for yourself, you will be more productive that afternoon. If you can do that every lunch hour, you will have more productivity that afternoon. So pay attention to eating healthier at lunch, right? Generating food. Make sure there's protein in it. Make sure there's vegetables in it. Preferably spinach, kale, something high-powered greens, right? Get our greens for lunch. Go for a walk, and you will be more productive in the afternoon. You'll also be happier for your coworkers. You'll have better coworker relationships as well. Okay, so there's a few tips there. But turning off that technology is huge. Turn it off. Give yourself a break. Connect with real people. Make it a fun. Now, breaking this habit can be hard. All right. And here's another thing to look for in your life. It's very, very easy to get caught up in technology communication, and especially during quarantine. And pay attention to this with your kids because it's happening to them a lot and we're not aware of it. Parents are not dialing into this enough, in my opinion. We spend so much time connecting with people through social media, emails, texting, all of that, that we fool ourselves into having a social life. We fool ourselves into having friends and connections. All right. The fact is, if you don't see somebody in person, it's not a real connection. It's not satisfying that social bonding need that we have. It's good. It's great on keeping us in contact with each other, especially during COVID. It's very hard to get out to see everybody, and especially when they locked everyone down. Holy smokes, it was impossible to see people, right? But make sure you are having a connection with people. Pick up a phone. It's amazing how different an actual phone call is. You can tell how old I am. I hold a phone like this, right? But actually picking up a phone and having the conversation. The video text helps as well, because actually we can see each other, and that helps. But there's nothing like hearing the voice the phone is good, but hearing the voice in person, being able to hug somebody, having the skin to skin contact. When we have skin to skin contact, we actually leave a little bit of our DNA behind, which scientists have shown we react to each other, right? So when you have somebody's DNA on you, you are more sensitive to their emotions and you are more bonded with them, right? That's why one of the best things to fix a relationship is to have that skin to skin contact, because you're actually sharing DNA on each other and you become more interconnected. That's why intimacy is so important. It's about that skin to skin DNA contact. And make sure you do that with your kids. Okay. Kids, especially in their teen years, they have a tendency to reject adults. They have a tendency to want to be in their own world and wanting their own privacy and stuff like that, which is great. And we need to respect that and give that. That's what they need to develop and grow. But they still need hugs and they still need physical people around them. And right now, with all this social distancing going on, the kids aren't getting it like they used to. All right. And really, parents, the primary connection that you want your kids to have is still you. I know they're teenagers and I know they have these active social lives and these busy schedules and stuff going on and they're in their own world, but you are still their parents and you are still their number one guide as to how to live in this world. And they are looking at you, they are following you, and they are judging your actions. They may be doing the exact opposite of what you've been telling them to do, but that's because they're trying to figure out whether you were right for them. With your advice, how does that actually work? They're applying your advice. That's why they're doing it. All right. It's not that they're not listening. They're applying it and trying to draw their own conclusions about it. And it's a healthy thing to do. But they need contact from you. They need you to look them in the eyes. They need you to reach out and give them a hug, a pat on the back. They need physical touch, sensory. It's so important. We all need it. So break away from those computers. Give yourself a day off. Get out in nature. Breathe deep. Go into your heart. That's always my message. Go into your heart. Breathe deep. Have true compassion. Compassion has no judgment. Have true compassion for yourself and have compassion for everyone in your world. Anyhow, that is my video today, and I'm going to leave it there. Detox your life. Detox your life by getting involved and living it.